Well, this is really out of my comfort zone. I can't look at Carrie McDonald because she's a crier and she made me cry. And I was told not to look at Miranda and she's behind me, so that's good. My husband's the talker in the family. Like most of the testimonies I've heard, I was raised in church. I was always in church. If the church doors were open, my family was there. The difference between my testimony and many of yours is that I was raised by very devout Catholic parents. I grew up in a community where most of the people were Catholic. My friends were Catholic. So I fit right in. I didn't go to Catholic school. My parents couldn't afford it, but I went to catechism classes. And that's like Wednesday night here for our kids. We didn't really learn much of the Bible. We learned a lot of prayers that we had to memorize and recite. We were taught how to prepare us for the ceremonies, like your First Holy Communion and your confirmation. We were taught about going to confession. Like any child, I had to do what my parents told me to do, and they told us we were going to a Catholic church. All my life I questioned the practices of the church. I never saw a Bible in my home. Most Catholics don't use a Bible. Every Sunday the service is the same. You have a little booklet, and there's the prayers in it. It's always the same. There's a Bible verse, but I was much older before I realized that it was actually from the Bible, because it would say, like a letter from Paul to the Ephesians. It never gave the Bible verse. We didn't use a Bible. I didn't understand going to confession, and if any of you know what confession is, it's basically like a little closet, and you're in there with the priest, and he can't see you. There's like a partition up, and you go in and you say, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned," and you tell him your sins. And at the end, he'll say, "I forgive you," and he'll give you a penance. And usually they're prayers like Our Fathers and Hail Marys, and I didn't understand how saying my sins, telling my sins to a priest forgave me. I didn't see how it was his place to forgive me. I felt like that was between me and God. I didn't understand how Hail Marys and Our Fathers were going to make my sin go away. I thought that was between me and God. I didn't understand praying to the Blessed Virgin. I didn't understand why we were praying to angels and saints. I felt like we should be praying to God. Well, in the 8th grade, you make your confirmation. A confirmation is a really big ceremony in a Catholic church, and it's basically reaffirming the vows you made when you were baptized. But you're baptized as an infant in the Catholic faith. And my confirmation really didn't mean anything to me. I was doing it because my parents told me I had to be confirmed. I mean, that's a ceremony every